Not quite what you signed up for, is it, Jensen?
Excuse me?
Sneaking into your own factory to hide stuff while the boss holds the cops at bay? Don't get me wrong, I love Mr. Seraph. I just hate it when contracts become more important than people. I thought you did too.
I do. But things don't always go according to plan, Malik. I did what I could.
I'm sure you did. You ready to go?
Yeah, get me out of here, Malik.
Your wish is my command. Climb in.
So that's pretty funny. If you look at this pizza box here, it's Maggio's Pizza, and that's actually one of the texture artists. And if you look at the face on it, that's actually his face. And throughout, I think it's in Detroit. There might be one in Hangsha as well. You see the actual restaurant as well with his name and his face on the window. So that's the kind of stuff we did. We did a lot in the game, which is.
Did he become rich with that?
Well, I haven't seen him for a while, so I think he's probably very rich. Yeah.
Retired.
Yeah, retired. Yeah.
Well, if it isn't Mahatma Gandhi himself, come to honor us all with his life-preserving presence. If this is about the typhoon, I'll get to it in a minute.
Now, Pritchard. I didn't risk my neck to have you lose it in a pile of CPUs and scuzzy adapters.
Well, look at you, using the big words. Don't think just because you hacked through the plant security system so fast that you're an expert on everything computer. There's a reason I can't examine the typhoon yet.
Do tell.
For your information, I am running a diagnostic sweep on our network and router security to find out how Sanders' hacker got a hold of our codes.
I'd have thought the first question to ask is, whose codes were they? Unless you already know.
Stick to kicking down doors and shooting people, Jensen, and stop trying to do my job. I guarantee you we'll get along better that way.
David and Hugh Darrow? What the hell if I know? What did Bill Gates and Steve Jobs talk about?
So here we're in front of one of Seraph's employees, and he's called Will Rossolini. And actually, he was our consultant on augmentation in the game. And what is really cool about this, how it came to be, is that one day we were working and we received an official letter by this guy presenting himself and everything in the field he was working in and everything. And he said that it could be really an asset to us to work with the augmentations and
because
stuff.
he was a huge fan of Deus Ex, and
Exactly.
he really wanted to make sure that the level of scientific knowledge was accurate and into it to make that fiction feel even more real.
Exactly. So we contacted him, and therefore we started this collaboration, and now he was more into your turf.
And he really helped me a lot because we would have just been doing research ourselves, but you're never really sure what's right. But having an expert in the field who can actually kind of help guide us and correct things and help with a lot of the technical jargon that we were working with was really good. And then I remember kind of thinking as we were coming up with Seraph's offices and the employees and needing names for people, I was like, we should see if Will wants his name on one of those doors. So I sent him an email and I said, hey, would it be okay if we gave you an office? And he was like, oh my God, that would be so cool.
Because it's a biotech company, you know, so like that's what he does.
Exactly. So. And then it actually worked out that he was involved in some of the mystery of the theft. And I said, we're actually probably going to accuse you at one point and make you a suspect at one point. Is that okay? And he's like, oh my God, that it would be so amazing. So it worked out really well for us, I think.
He's a very interesting guy. Didn't he used to play baseball or something?
Yeah, he was in the MLB at some point.
MLB?
With Arizona, I think. Can't remember exactly.
What is that? I'm not really familiar with baseball. Is that like the league right before the big league or something?
No, it's the big league.
Major League.
MLB.
MLB, Major League.
Major League. Yeah.
Like he was in the real thing.
You know, like with a ball and a baseball bat.
Yeah,
that's
like Seraph has
the
in
thing
his
that like
office?
lasts forever and nothing happens.
No, that's soccer.
Oh, that's.
Here we have a good example of show don't tell with this plate on the wall where we make this building feel much more important and bigger than what is actually playable.
And I remember the first version of it when I was playing it, the level artist had slapped up a sign, and it basically just had 3 floors to the whole building, because that's really all you get to explore.
But when you're outside, it's humongous.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, guys, we got to have more in there. We got to have like more offices and more things to show this. So we ended up submitting a list to him, and some of the things we wanted didn't get in there. Like we wanted a cafeteria named the Swallow's Nest, named after one of the writers who worked with us. And then the whole part about this is all under construction, it ended up helping us to explain why you only go to a few floors, and yet also tie into the story.
Yeah, it's me. They spin the news like anyone else.
So what I love about this cutscene is the baseball. It was an element in the backstory of Seraph's character, and it became such an important part of so much of the game itself.
And the way that the ball falls at some point and it reveals Adam Jensen in the back, it really shows that Adam Jensen is Seraph's puppet.
And what's funny is when we did the audition session, there was a monologue sort of scene, actually a dialogue with Mary playing the role of Megan, and Steve Shellen just sold it so much, speaking about augmented pictures using a baseball. So again, the baseball comes into play, and it really had a big part of him getting the role.
Yeah, how you feeling?
I've had better days.
Well, when we're done here, check in with Dr. Markovic at the limb clinic downtown. Get her to get a checkup.
If you insist. Listen, about Sanders?
You did good today, Adam. And thanks to you, Sanders is behind bars. And my lawyers are gonna make sure he pays for what he did. So don't worry about what anyone else says.
I won't. But that's not why I brought him up. Sanders was tricked into attacking us by the hacker I caught going after the Typhoon.
He's the man we really needed to interrogate today.
Exactly. Only he killed himself to prevent any chance of my doing that. That takes real dedication.
Yeah, or training. You're sure he was augmented?
I pulled his cables out myself.
Yeah, well, the police are saying he's not, and they're refusing to let me see the body, no matter how much money I threaten to pull from their retirement fund.
Maybe someone else is offering more. So what do you want me to do, boss?
We have to get a look at the corpse. You still got friends on the force. You think one of them will let you into the morgue?
Depends who I run into.
Get over to the station and find a way inside. Because if that hacker was augmented, his neural hub might tell us who he was. Contact me when you've gotten a hold of it.
You got it.
So here in Adam's office, you can see his computer. You can find emails on it, and as you can find emails all over the company of Seraph. But in particular here, we start off a quest for Jensen to investigate these neuropozyne thefts that are going on. And this was actually a mini quest that was kind of proposed by a level designer, the level designer who created this level. And he came to us and said he really wanted to have this really cool thing where you could kind of break into offices and find the codes to other people's offices, and it would be this whole mystery of kind of solving this, wrapping it up to the side quest of who's stealing the neuropozyne. But his real intention was really just to give players a reason to get inside offices and steal things and find good codes for it. So he never really thought through the actual quest itself, and neither did really me or anyone else. And so when we actually sat down to start writing these emails, we just kind of had this thing as I'm going forward and I'm trying to build this whole mystery through this whole quest, and eventually as I'm getting to the end I'm realizing there's no payoff.
Yeah, there's nothing.
And there's nothing because we can't pay it off because that's part of the side quest that comes later.
Yeah.
And we were doing it so late in the production process that we just kind of had no chance.
It was a bummer because a lot of players came to us after that because they were really into that quest and everything, and they were asking us like, how does it end? Like, where's the conclusion? And we're like,
The conclusion is when you steal from your office, it leads nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's the moral.
There's the moral. I steal
Crime doesn't
pixels
pay.
and polygons all
Or
the
it
time.
does.
I don't know what to do with them. I have no idea. I stack them up.
Stealing's bad, okay?
Yeah.
So as you walk around Seraph HQ, you'll see on all the doors, or near all the offices, are the names of the employees. We kind of did this all at once, very quickly. One of the level designers said, well, we need to name these people, and we had no idea. So I assigned it to one of the writers, Mark, and he had the great idea that since this is a scientific research and a thing in the Renaissance style, why don't we make up names? Why don't we take names of scientists and Renaissance thinkers from the
Painters.
past and painters and kind of mix them up? So a lot of the people in here, with the exception of Will Rossellini, are actually these references to ancient to Renaissance thinkers and painters and artists.
Well, shit, if it ain't the captain himself. Mr. Seraph done fixed you up good, ain't he? Give you a new set of glasses and everything. Damn.
How you doing, Letitia?
Didn't think I'd see you walking this boulevard anytime soon, that's for sure. Not after what happened 6 months ago. People said you's down for the count.
People tend to underestimate me.
You and me both, Captain. You and me both. You got any credits you can spare?
How about you give me some information, and then we'll see.
Oh, damn, Captain. You ain't no cop no more. Why you gotta insist on using them rules?
Because it's my money this time, not the department's. You want it, you better give me something that's worth it.
Yeah, I guess. So what you wanna know?
I might need to do a little trespassing soon. Maybe get inside some places where I'd rather not be seen going in.
You being kind of vague, Captain. But maybe it's best I don't know the Pacifics.
You got that right.
What I do know, though, is that most people tend to look down, not up. And even when looking down, they don't necessarily think about what's under their feet. If a person ain't too squeamish about getting dirty, they might be able to get inside one of the more sensitive areas in the city. Especially if they arm themselves ahead of time with the right information. Interesting thing about the sewers in the city, Captain. Some of them pass right under the police station, but that don't stop some people from hiding things down there.
What kind of things?
I was not sure, but a bunch of them walls been patched over pretty quick. Man like you might be able to find out why, especially if he's fixed up with some of the magic eyes that sees through stuff. Mr. Seraph has to make eyes like that, don't you think?
It's been a while since I walked the beat. Where would a less than exemplary citizen go these days if he needed to acquire some unlicensed firepower?
Well now, I hear there might be a gun seller or two around town. But an adventuring man, especially one fixed with some of that fancy techno-limbs Mr. Seraph makes, he might be able to acquire a few more if he's willing to go the extra mile.
Fine. I'll bite. Tell me about this extra mile.
You hear about the protest at Lim today? The one ass was about to get all violent till Mr. Seraph's factory stole all the news.
What about it?
Rumor has it, somebody wanted to make sure it got to Miss Eliza's attention. Maybe had a shooter in a high place somewhere, looking down on the Lim Plaza, aiming to turn things up a notch. Didn't happen, 'cause the factory, but you never know. They might have left something behind.
I think I've got all the information I need right now, Tish. Maybe next time.
I be's right here waiting for you, Captain.
So the name of the gas station is something that I came up with while we're designing the textures. The name Oran is actually one of the provinces of Nigeria, which is a country that is totally being decimated by Exxon with all the oil exploitation, and they were making sure that it's a puppet government that's in place, that's the education, the population kind of got educated and stuff like that to make sure that they'll never really rebel against the exploitation that the U.S. and Exxon is doing there. But anyway, I suggest that you go research this. It's really interesting, and here's just a little snippet of information that we decided to, let's take some of what's going on there and somehow put it in the game.
So here's the weapon merchant inside of the gas station, and the whole gas station was a very old building that we kept from all the way back from the very first Vertigo Slice. And instead of trying to redesign it as we went along in the production of the whole City Hub, we actually tried to keep it because we thought it was one of the very cool things visually, and also gameplay-wise. There was a lot of potentials to do with it, and we always wanted to have a weapon merchant, a black market merchant inside of it. And the thing is, for us, since you work on a game, it's always very, you lose some kind of objectivity about what you think is good about your game. So for me, it was very obvious that there was someone in there. But from the playtest, almost every single playtester did not see the weapon merchant. So.
But we were debating like, should it be obvious or should it be hidden, and etc. And we went back and forth a couple of times until we decided, okay, let's make it more.
At some point, we had an icon about those guys and trying to create some kind of a Metal Gear Solid-ish type of group or something like that. And at the end, we said, fuck it.
You got anything you want to buy or sell? I'm the guy you want to deal with. Everything's on the computer, right at your fingertips. Always a pleasure.
Grayson hooked me up with some real tight merch. Those arc lovers get in my face now, I'm ready to pop.
Grayson? Where he at?
Yo, where you been, man? He been running shit through that abandoned gas station for weeks.
Oh, word?